Welcome back guys on another instruction video. Today I'm gonna show you the KTM 690 Enduro and how we will place the Rebel X Sport Street Legal Rally Kit on it. This instruction video acts also as instruction video for the 701. I'll do in future a separate one, but since the frame and the bike is pretty more the same, the instructions are the same. Here on the table we have almost all the parts that are included in the kit. They come pre-assembled, so it's very difficult to go wrong. The installation you'll see is pretty easy and straightforward. We are just missing the side panels that we'll have in a second moment. Also, the wiring is plug and play, so the wiring harness is included. First thing we want to do is remove the 4 T30 Torx bolts to remove the headlight mask. Just a quick pro tip, when I'm working on bikes I always use these trays. These are from Metric Concepts. I find them very useful to know where all the bolts then need to go, because this tray has different sections. So in this first section I'll put all the bolts regarding the headlight mask and the plastic, then other bolts I'll put them here in the central part, and so on. So when working on the bike, before you start building your rally bike, get a tray, any type, even just a little box to put the bolts so that you don't lose them. Once you remove the headlight, you'll see all these wires and you'll want to vomit, because there are really lots of wires. Get a cutter and you have to start cutting all the zip ties that are keeping the wires in place. Once you took down the zip ties, take your time. First of all, we're gonna remove these 2 bolts to remove this black plastic, and then slowly you have the connectors going through so that you can remove completely this black plastic. If you want to avoid having to remove completely the brake line, we can do a simple cut here in the black plastic so that we'll be able to remove it completely. One up here and one down here for the ABS cable and so on. The black mask is almost out. We just need to remove now this bolt on the side plastic in order to disconnect the connectors that are here and make them go through the mask. Remove the bolt also on the other side where we have the plastic protector, as we will need to have space to put on the frame clamp. First thing, we slide in the U-bolt. If you're worried about scratching the frame, you can get some thin adhesive foam and apply it here in the headstock of the bike so that the U-bolt will go against the soft padding. Insert the CNC machine clamp on the U-bolt. Once you slide in the CNC machine clamp on the U-bolt and place the nuts without tightening them, it's time to insert these other CNC machine brackets that go around the frame and tighten these. Tighten the two nuts, but not completely, so that we can still slide a bit the clamp around, because now we'll insert the main tower body, and only once we install everything on, we'll check that the tower is completely straight, and then we will tighten completely these as a last step. We now slide on the clamp the pre-assembled nav tower and put the 4 bolts on. I advise you, it's better if you put a bit of thread lock. We will now need to place all the connectors and wires inside this hole on the right-hand side of the tower. A very cool feature of the Rebel X Sports kit that no other kit has is that the spacers are threaded. This gives us the chance to completely remove the left side so that we can place nicely all the wires with zip ties and then install again the left-hand side of the tower. Remember to make the bigger connectors go through the hole first. Now we will move the OEM dashboard, EBS and indicators on this bracket. When you put the indicator lights and all the other items here, if you have a hard time pushing them in, it's because of the powder coating. You'll want to use a tool like this and just scrape off a bit of powder coating. Included on the kit, you have 3 on-off switches with the LED indicator. There are 3 spots where we can place them. It's up to you how you want to wire your device, if you're running road, book, GPS or tablet or whatever. If you want to be able to turn them off, you'll wire these switches and place them anywhere you prefer. We will now install the dashboard bracket on the side of the tower, so that meanwhile we fix all the wires, we start connecting everything. Now we will get the fuse box power wire and insert it. It says ACC2. ACC2 you find here written also on the wires coming out. The ACC2 plugs give you power only when the bike is turned on. For this reason we will plug them in, as I prefer having current only when the bike is turned on, but alternatively you can plug this wire in the ACC1, but at this point you'll need to wire one of the on-off switches so that you can turn off the power anytime. We also pick up the lights wiring harness from the kit and we plug it in the OEM connector. Once you placed all the wires inside and connected everything, we can now place back the left-hand side of the tower body. When you put back the tower body, be careful not to pinch any wire. Now we will wire the fuse box. The red ring goes here on the fuse box. We bolt the M8 nut back on. Whereas the ground, we can place it anywhere on the tower. All the grounds of all the devices we will install, we will put together. I usually either drill a hole here, so it comes in handy, or you can use one of these holes that are also already existent on the tower. Time to install the headlight brackets. Get the windshield bracket, install it, but tighten only by hand these bolts, as these we will tighten for last. Now get your street legal headlight and slide it in the nav tower. Don't tighten completely these bolts, as you see these holes are slotted, because we will have the chance to adjust our headlight and also shift it up and down depending on when we get the fairing and the side panels on, so that everything fits perfectly. The kit is designed to hold the turn indicators on the nav tower. You have two holes on the headlight bracket where you can place them, or if you want to change them, you can place any aftermarket turn indicator. Now get the lower scoop and the windshield, get these rubber threads, insert them in the holes, place the lower scoop under the windshield, then pick up the 4 black bolts, install them. Now that the windshield is assembled, we are ready to install it on the bike. Now that the windshield is on, the tower is nice and tight, we just left the U-bolt loose so that we can adjust it, and we can take the measurement from here to the side shroud on both sides, so that we will be sure it's perfectly straight. Then we can move on to installing the side panels, but also we can use the side panels to help us put the nav tower completely straight. Once the nav tower is straight, you'll use a 13mm to tighten the U-bolt completely. We have now here the fairing side panels. They are in fiberglass, and we have the cable guide for your fork. To install the side panels, we'll need a drill. What I advise you is that first you do a small hole, and then you do a hole for the M5 bolts that we are gonna put on the bike. We're ready to put it on. Just to let you know, the side panels can be ordered also in white color, in matte white. These are matte black. You can see we have here an edge, and this is so that it's super easy to install them. You can't go wrong because it goes perfectly inside the radiator shroud, so you can drill holes by yourself without anyone having to help you. What I prefer to do is I put the side panel in position, and I'll first drill the upper hole, and then I'll drill the lower hole. And consider the edge is pretty big, so you can't go wrong. It's up to you where you want to put the bolts, but I'll put one here about a centimeter, 2 centimeters in, and then another here, so that this won't interfere with our legs when we are riding. Now that we drilled the first hole, we're gonna put the bolt and the washer and the nut, so that it's gonna be even easier to drill the second bolt, and to end with, we'll do the hole for the quick release. Once you install the 2 bolts, it's time to drill the hole for the Jesus fastener. Ideally, you want to drill a small hole from behind and go out here on the front. But since I'm pretty used to doing this job, I'll just go direct and drill the hole, because more or less I know where I have to drill the hole, and it's about the center of this sort of hole. So let's do it. Now that the Jesus fastener is in place, you can see that the side panel follows the lines of the bike and matches really nicely the fairing. As you've seen, the kit is pretty easy to install. It's completely plug and play. You don't need many tools to do this job because the kit is developed with Dakar in mind, even though you're an adventure rider and you want to turn your 690 into an adventure bike. This is important because you know if you're gonna be traveling around the world, you won't need many tools or any strange tool that you can't find that people have normally in the garage. Okay guys, I hope this video tutorial was useful to you and you understood better how to prepare your 690 in a real adventure bike. Stay tuned cause we're gonna fit lots of cool accessories on this bike and I will then make a full video on the full preparation once it's finished. Other video tutorials are coming. We have the CRF 450L instruction video. Thanks a lot for watching and for all your support in the latest videos. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!